good morning. As Pastor said, my name is Luann O'Brien, and I'm Charlotte's favorite daughter. Actually, I'm her only daughter. Secretly, I think we would all want to attend our own memorial service, and I can tell you that my mother would be so humbled to see everyone here to celebrate her life. I know I am. Thank you so much for coming. I'm reminded of the great scene from the movie The Last Samurai, where Captain Nathan Algren, played by Tom Cruise, returns from battle with news of the death of Katsumoto, the Emperor's mentor. As Algren presents the slain Katsumoto sword to the Emperor, says, "Tell me how he died." And Algren responds, "No, I will tell you how he lived." Today, I want to share with you how my mother lived. Charlotte was born, as Pastor said, in Canada on June 19, 1937. In Canobie, New Brunswick. And she was the sixth of Ralph and Vera Ellis, 11 children. And in 1966, we moved to Crystal Lake. She raised the four of us along with many of our friends over the years. Most of them knew her as Mrs. B. There were hockey games and practices, figure skating and school functions. It was a happy and most memorable childhood. Probably because we were such great kids and didn't cause any problems. When the grandkids started coming, now they're 11, my mother had a new passion. She would invite the kids over to swim in the pool, slumber parties, or birthday parties. She often read them books, and Where's Goldie was one of the favorites. She read it all the time, so many times to see her memorize the words long before she could actually read, making her parents, Sandy and Danielle, think they had a child prodigy, which turned out to be true. Mom had a thing for glasses. As the style changed, so did her eyewear. As you can see, she wasn't afraid to go bold. We still laugh about the fact when she would get bored with her glasses, she would paint them with fingernail polish. My Aunt Ivy reminded me of the time she showed up in Canada with black ones and white polka dots. There have been so many stories told, and there'll be more to tell. Like the time Mom wanted to be sure that a new pair of pants would be suitable for bowling. After donning the new pants, she picked up her bowling ball and set off down the hallway at home as if to deliver the perfect strike. Unfortunately, she had just applied some hand lotion. You know where I'm going with this. The ball slipped out of her hand and headed down the hall, with her chasing after it. No worries, she simply rearranged the furniture in the room and neatly forever hid the dent in the wall. She loved to sew, and as the only girl, I was the primary recipient of her handiwork. I'll never forget my favorite zebra fur pantsuit, or those red corduroy hip huggers. Even when she bought clothes, she was certain that alterations that had to be done. Adjust the waistband, take in the legs, or add a piece of material to extend the sleeve. While she was with us in Georgia, we would drop something off for her to mend, and by the end of the day, it would be proudly displayed for her to pick up same-day service. She was fond of bright and bold colors. As Pastor mentioned, she painted all of her furniture, including the lamps, her favorite shade of green. I believe she also painted Ralph's wooden carvings. They were white. I think he was devastated. And her decorating also included her love of butterflies. There were butterfly clips or stickers everywhere, and she even brought those to Georgia to adorn her bedroom and mirror. And I don't know if you can see it in the background, but you can see she's got butterfly stickers everywhere. Once in Georgia, we realized just how much driving was involved in getting her back and forth to dialysis 3 times a week, not to mention the weekly doctor visits with her new medical team. Just as Morgan Freeman did in the movie, we began to refer to our frequent passenger as Miss Daisy. She loved when Tyler picked her up from dialysis because that meant a trip to McDonald's for her new favorite treat, a double hamburger, no sodium. Those of you who are not familiar with dialysis diet, no sodium. When I would get home, she would innocently tell me how she wasn't hungry because she had had a burger. only to see Tyler's jaw drop, saying, "Grandma, that was supposed to be our secret." Mom was always cold, one of the reasons why she enjoyed Atlanta's summers, hot and humid. Every Sunday after church, we would pack up and head to the lake. She was our official lifeguard, equipped with a whistle, squirt gun, and fan. We celebrated her 74th birthday in Flamingo Cove with our Redneck Yacht Club friends. She bridged the distance between Georgia and Illinois using Facebook to check out posted pictures and videos of the kids and grandkids. With the Skype technology, she was able to actually see Caleb when he started walking and talking, and to hear all about little Sandy's first day of school. We would text the older grandkids, enjoying pictures of Colorado from Lauren, and a message from Sierra that included a picture of her engagement ring. For as long as I can remember, she loved to knit. There was never a shortage of hand-knit mittens and scarves growing up, and she was very proud to have taught Lauren and Sierra this skill. In the last she got my flamingos at my office too. In the last several years, she knit baby hats for all the newborns at Woodstock and McHenry hospitals. Her passion continued in Georgia, where she handed out these cherished treasures to every expecting mom, wishful grandma. Kevin and I even sent them to expecting folks who we knew from work. She always enjoyed helping with dinner, often telling us how the network channel would prepare a certain dish. And we learned later that she was afraid she would starve when Kevin was out of town during the week. I think it was a shot at my cooking skills. She enjoyed baking chocolate chip cookies just as much as her later years when we were kids. Every cookie had to be perfectly positioned on the tray, exactly 5 dozen per batch. If I ate the cookie dough, she would remind me that there wasn't exactly 5 dozen. As her pace slowed down, television proved to be her great source of entertainment for Mom. One of the favorites was watching televised legal trials on Fox, but the really big event each week came every Monday night when Kevin and I would sit down to watch Dancing with the Stars. For those of you who are not familiar with this show, professional dancers are paired with stars. Every Monday, the couples would perform in the televised audience and the panel of judges, hoping to score the perfect 10. Mom, Kevin, and I would all take our turns trying to anticipate the judges' scores. Whoever came closest earned bragging rights for next week. In 2005, Mom made a trip back to Canada to visit with the family and friends. She knew it might well be her last time to the native Canada because she was in the beginning stage of kidney failure. Then in August of this year, her sister Ivy came to Georgia to visit and help look after her, while my husband Tyler and I went on previous planned vacation. It was difficult to leave them, but we knew that there was a host of neighbors and friends ready to help as needed. We left them with a car, a cell phone, and a GPS, although neither one of them knew how to operate the cell phone or the GPS. When we returned, they told us all about their adventures going back and forth to dialysis. After taking twice as long to make the trip, due to the GPS saying, "Recalculating." Kevin and I also went on a long weekend to Mexico and left Tyler to grandma sit. Well, he made sure she had food. He put her to work as a referee on the Upward Soccer. And at the end of the day, they would kick back and relax. Not a good idea to leave your mom with your son. Her most memorable adventure in her final months was our trip to Chicago for the wedding of Beth and Justin. Her health was such that neither of us thought she would be able to travel, but we decided to book the flights anyway and hope for the best. In the weeks just prior to departure, what had started out to be a cold turned into an infection and a trip to the hospital via ambulance where she was admitted immediately. While in the hospital, the doctors all knew our goal, and that was to get her to this wedding. Even in her weakened state, the dialysis treatments never stopped. One day while in dialysis, during this particular hospital visit, her face lit up. She said she saw 3 angels that were fluttering around her head. She beamed while she talked about them. She said they were so happy and they made her happy. We decided right there and then that those angels were set to help her get to that wedding, and so they did. Just the night before our flight, the doctors reluctantly released her to fly. With the help of a wheelchair, we passed through airport security without a glitch. We were able to pre-board, and then while in the air, we talked about those angels again, and we giggled. It was hard to believe that less than 24 hours, she was in the hospital. Once we landed, we loaded Grandma and all our gear into the rental car and headed for the quick lunch by my husband's parents, changed back in the car and off to the church, pulling into the parking lot just 30 minutes before the wedding. She was beaming while watching Justin and Beth take their vows. Then was off to the reception to visit with old and new friends and family. When we arrived at the hotel for check-in, she said there was no way she could have planned the day any better. Everything just fell into place. It was like those three angels had helped her to get there, and they placed us everywhere where we needed to be. Just as we were about to fall asleep, she said, "I'm so glad I came." And I was like, "Please go to sleep, I'm exhausted." I woke up the next morning, and she was still sitting on the side of the bed, talking about the day. After dialysis on Saturday, little Sandy and Caleb came over to the hotel pool to swim, just like she had done with the older children when they were grown up. There was even a special visit that night from the newlyweds. Now, after her passing, I realized how many people she has touched. Just look at everyone here. Thank you for coming. My house looks like a floral shop. Every day I arrive home and there's another basket of flowers or a vase. My mailbox is full of cards, food, daily calls from neighbors and friends and family, checking to see how things are going and always reminding me of the story about her. It took a village to care for my mom, and there are so many people to thank, starting with the Crystal Lake Police Department for not breaking down her door when my mom was in the hospital and I had forgotten to call Faith in Action. Thanks for the Crystal Lake Police Department for their countless visits to the condo when the smoke detectors went off. I've been told it had something to do with Randy's cooking. To the Crystal Lake, McHenry, and Marietta Dialysis Centers for the care they provided for the last 4 years of her treatment. For the team of doctors both in Illinois and Georgia. Her new primary doctor in Georgia was stunned when he received the case of records that arrived prior to her first visit. Mom told the doctor that she felt like giving up, and the doctor said, "Why would you do that? Look what you've survived." And she told him that she said, "There's everything wrong with me." And he said, "No, you don't have diabetes, do you?" To Faith in Action, a nonprofit interfaith organization that serves the seniors in McHenry County, for driving our mom to dialysis 3 days a week while in Illinois. To our co-workers and our bosses for allowing us to be late or miss work due to countless doctor and hospital visits. To our neighbors and friends, thank you for embracing our mother and being there and offering assistance whenever we needed. To our extended families, thank you for your love and compassion, always, anything we needed. To my sister-in-laws and nieces and nephews, thank you for your kindness and support you gave my brothers, especially over the last few years. To my brothers, for all you did for Mom. For handling your finances, medication, doctor's appointments, hospital stays, shopping. Mom was also very proud of how we worked together over the years, handling more and more of her affairs. She said there's no crying, so I'm trying. She was all at peace knowing we all found our lifelong partners and we're all happy and successful. Thank you to my father and my stepmother for your support and encouragement over the last 12 years. In hard times, we knew we could count on you to lift us up. You have always been there to lean on and a shoulder to cry on. Behind the scenes, the man behind the curtain, our foundation. And finally, I want to thank my husband and my son. Without them, I would not have had the very special time with my mother. The two of you made it possible. You did it all, sometimes backing me up, sometimes holding me up, but most just being there. I love you both very much. A few weeks ago, after a very busy weekend, I found this note on her door, attached with a Band-Aid. And it said, "Dear Luann, I will not be going to church today. Love and kisses, Miss Daisy." Well, I think Miss Daisy is not only with us today at church, but dancing with Jesus, surrounded by those three cherished angels that helped her get to Chicago. And I think in the spirit of her favorite show, can I ask the judges for your scores? Tyler? Kevin?